One of the most important topics to discuss in details before you say I do is money. Money is an important factor in marriage because bills must be paid. Having money is good because it offers couples more options and the capacity to solve problems and the opportunity to express their love in varied ways, especially when the foundation of genuine love is already in place.
So today we'll be looking at 7 important money matters that must be discussed before marriage.
Hello everybody, it's fantastic to have you again back on our channel. I'm always super excited to just come and share with you our heart. My name is Amara
and my name is Gospel. Money has power. Money has the capacity of breaking or making a relationship strong depending on its management. Economic hardship within a short period of time could unite married couples as they work together to surmount such obstacle. However, perpetual economic hardship can reduce drastically the level of satisfaction that is derived from a relationship.
Financial problems are part of the leading causes of divorce and marital dysfunction. Thus, finance is a big issue that needs to be discussed extensively before marriage.
Number 1, identify your mindset about money. So to start this conversation, the first place to start is to understand your mindset about finance in marriage. What is your philosophy about money? How do each of you feel about money? What are your thoughts on how financial affairs should be managed within the context of marriage? What are your ideas about family income?
Wow, these are bold questions.
Yes.
Another question that I think that needs addressing before you go into marriage, it has to do with finances, is who is responsible for the family finance in terms of the income, in terms of the expenditure. Some individuals are of the view that family income must come from the man only because he is responsible for providing for the family. His money is for the family expenses while her money is for herself. So these are some questions that we really need to sort of delve into, because one thing that we've discovered talking with young intending couples is that a lot of them haven't had a sit-down conversation with their would-be wife or with their would-be husband on this issue of finance. And then eventually when they get into the marriage, this becomes a big problem.
Because you need to understand the mindset of your spouse or intending spouse before you guys get married.
Yes.
And there are 3 approaches to managing finance within marriage.
Yes.
So many couples adopt. The first one is some people believe that source of income, family income and expenses, 100% from the husband. So he makes all the money. So he manages the expenses. Everything is on him in terms of finance.
Yes, 100%.
Yes. And then the second one is where people believe that the man can contribute, the woman can contribute. So the family income and expenses depend on both of them. So they manage it together.
Yes.
And the third one is where the source of family income is on the woman. For various reasons. We've done a video where the woman is a breadwinner.
Yes.
In that regard, that could be
one of the
situation.
factors. Yes, one of the factors.
Yes.
Now, having highlighted all of these approaches that you've just touched on, of these 3 approaches, we think, bearing in mind that this is our opinion based on our values, based on our principles, we think that the best approach remains combined source of income and expenses. However, you cannot assume that your spouse is to be aware of this Exactly, because you cannot know his or her view about this particular thing until you actually have a sit-down conversation together. So if an individual has been exposed to a family where, the system is one of these approaches, say for example, where it is a sole 100% responsibility of the man,
father,
of the father in the relationship, he or she may think it is common to everyone. So I think this needs to be, there's a lot of conversation that needs to be had around this.
Yeah, it's true, because where you have opportunity to discuss these issues, it helps you to have a picture of how you're going to manage your finance when you get married.
Yes.
So the problem is that people have challenges starting this kind of conversation. You don't know how to go about it. So for us, one of the things to do is to share your story.
Yep.
In the process of telling your story, how your parents manage their finance, the things that happen in the family, you'll be able to pick some insight about your intended spouse mindset about money.
Yes, and I think the point you touched about stories is very good, because then you begin to have a conversation where you begin to ask yourself and begin to challenge some of those, depending on what it is, what sort of approach it is this the best, is this what we want to do for ourselves in our relationship? So it is very important that you have a sit down conversation about finance. It's not something to shy away from, because this creates a lot of problem in relationships.
So by the time you have that conversation, you know the flexible points in terms of his or her value.
Yes. How rigid?
And the rigid point.
Yes.
Where is a no-no.
No, yes.
For instance, if a woman believes that the money you make is ours, whereas the one I make as a woman is mine, and you know that she is not willing to compromise that standard, then you know that this is possibly what you're going to face within your marriage.
Yes. The second point I think that is really important is that you need to do a financial audit. It's very important. Find out about the financial position of each other. Is he or she in debt? Is he or she, do they have savings? Because this is very important. Once you are married, the credit rating or the financial circumstances of your spouse will impact on you directly or indirectly. So as a woman getting into a marriage, do not assume that a man is financially comfortable or secure because he has a good job. Someone can have a good job, at the same time he can be in real serious debt. So that he drives flashy cars, flashy car, he lives in a nice apartment. Could be.
And he wears designer's clothes, very expensive.
Yes.
Sometimes people do that to impress.
Yes.
So you don't assume because that's the situation and you think this guy is very comfortable.
Yep.
It could be a lady as well, where she has a good job and you think, because she has a good job, she must have some savings. No, you have to talk about it. It's not like you're probing.
There's no assumption. You're going to be in a relationship together, isn't
it? So if you guys have decided to get married, you need to have this conversation.
Honest conversation.
Do the auditing.
Yes,
before. No. If you have debt, let's see how much you're owing.
Yeah.
If you have savings, let's know how much it is. That helps you to make some plans when you're going into marriage.
Yes. It gives you a realistic perspective on your financial status.
Exactly. The third point we want to make is that two people who want to get married need to discuss their financial responsibilities or obligations. You need to discuss that, because you could have parents that depend on you. You could have extended family members. How do you manage that? If they need you to, take care of them financially, how do you manage that? To what extent are you responsible to your parents, your extended family members, your siblings? A lady may be the first child whose parents may have spent a fortune to train her in school, and she has siblings.
Yeah.
So the expectation from the parents
is there,
especially where the parents are not financially comfortable.
Yeah.
Their expectation is that when she gets a job, even when she gets married, she will take care of the family, especially for Africans who are from collectivist society.
Yes.
So that's very important. So you need to discuss that and know how far are you both going to take care of those extended family responsibilities.
you don't want any surprise when you get married. You know, they need to discuss about these issues to know the level of expectations, you know, on them and how far they can go on carrying on extra financial burden, because this is really important, or else this might eventually become a point of constant conflict in the relationship. Now, take for example, a guy who is probably the last born in his family, and he's from a very comfortable family, they're well-to-do, and then he gets married to this lady, and probably she's got a lot of financial commitment, a lot of financial obligation within her family. If they get married and the man does not consider taking care of her parents or her siblings as his or as their responsibility, he will block any effort to support them. Now, this could lead to her hiding some money away, telling some lies, exactly, and you know, secretly sending money to them. So this approach could also create real issues in a relationship if he eventually finds out.
Yeah, I think it usually leads to trust issues, because if he finds out that, oh, she's been sending money to her parents or her siblings without his consent, he might think, oh, I can't really trust her. Yeah. And they will start having issues.
The fourth issue I think needs touching on is discuss where you want to live and your cost of living.
Yes.
This is really important. Because so many people go into marriage with a lot of preconceived notion of like fairy tale wedding, or I'm gonna live in some very posh area, and it costs a whole lot to maintain that cost of living. So you should discuss where you intend to live, the kind of apartment you can actually manage, considering your, you know, we talked about your discussing doing a financial audit, because that's also very important. So for a guy, a studio, a room and parlor apartment in a crowded location, say for example in a place like Lagos, Surulere in Lagos for example, may be a wonderful place to start from, you know, based on where he's coming from. But then his wife may have lived in other posh areas, like again in Lagos, Banana Island or VGC or something like that. So again, in that case, she needs to be aware of the level of adjustment she needs to make and how your financial capacity can accommodate cheaper rent.
Yeah, because
I think this is important.
It's very important, because having that prior conversation helps everyone to have moderate expectation.
Yes.
And then you know what you're going into. So if they find out that, man, we can't afford the posh areas.
Yes.
We can look for a moderate area that is okay for both
for
parties.
A start.
Yes, for a start. So they don't put themselves under intense financial pressure.
Burden, yes.
That's why this conversation is very important.
Yes.
Another important money matter to discuss is family planning. When you are married, you have children and you need to raise them. Raising children involves paying their school fees. And don't assume that, oh, because you want to have 2 children, that the person you are getting married to have the same expectation or the same mindset about children. Yeah. If a man wants 2 children and the wife-to-be wants 4 children, then it's already an issue, because you need money to take care of them. Yep. And if your level of income cannot carry that, it becomes a problem. So if she has in mind that they will have 4 and he has in mind they will have 2, they need to have that conversation and come to a point of compromise. Yeah. That compromise could be, we can't take care of 4. Yeah. Okay, let's focus, let's believe we can take care of 3. Yeah.
Raising children is a project.
Yes.
So you need to have realistic plans going forward. Because I think it's unfair to bring them in and then it puts a lot of burden on the relationship.
It doesn't happen by default. There has to be a plan. Yeah. You know, a workable plan, so to speak.
Yes. The 6th thing I think that needs careful consideration is, what are your financial projections? You should as well discuss your financial projections in terms of your lifestyle. Understand this person you're getting into a relationship with. Some people are spenders. They don't stick with money, don't stick with them. Like the money comes in, the last thing that stays with them is the cash. They want to spend it. So you really need to understand what is your lifestyle and how can this match the financial projection that you are going to put in place, because that's also very crucial. What are your expected income for the next 1 year, for the next 2, 3, 5, 10 years? And what will you be able to achieve with that? You know, are you going to be setting up some projects? Will you be getting a mortgage together? You know, what exactly is your projection in terms of your finances? Because that's also very important. The job you're doing now, can it sustain the lifestyle that you guys are choosing to, you know, put out there and say, okay, we're going to have this sort of lifestyle? All of these things need to be factored in, because it is really crucial going into a marriage.
Yeah, adding to what you just said, I think all we are saying under this point is that you need to have financial goals.
Yeah.
You have to have plans, long-term plans, medium-term plans, short-term plans in terms of your finance. So make your budget, know how much you earn, know how much you spend, and try and beat Parkinson's law of money, which states that expenditure will always rise to meet income.
Yeah.
So if you don't break that law, you will remain in debt. So that is why it is important to have these conversations. The seventh point we want to make is that you must identify your strengths and your weaknesses in relation to money and decide who should manage your finance.
This is tricky. Should it be the man or should it be the woman?
This is the issue now.
Yeah.
Philosophy is that whoever is more prudent with finance should be the one in charge. It has nothing to do with gender or who is the head of the home. For us, our philosophy is that leadership is about service. Leadership is about vision, having vision for the family. It's not about who spends the family finance. So for us, the man can be the one that spends the money if he's more prudent. The woman can be the one that spends the money if she's more prudent. In our case, in our marriage, I think that my wife does more of the money management. So when we have a budget or a plan, she does more of the execution. It doesn't mean I am less of a man for letting her do that.
Yeah, I think the problem is that when you give some women the opportunity to manage money, I don't want to sound a bit kind of sexist here. You know, that is when they will remember the personal stuff that they need money for. And I think it's just a woman thing, because there's a tendency that you want to shop, you want to buy lots of things for yourself. There's always something good. There's always a bargain happening out there. You know, however, when there is an understanding and there is selflessness, you know, the couple tend to maximize their strength by allowing everyone to function where he or she is best suited. So if you are that person in the relationship that for some reason you cannot keep the pound sterling or the dollar or the naira, I mean, let the other person just take the wheel and manage it, irrespective of who, whether it's a man, whether it's a woman. If that person is more prudent, then allow the person to take the reins and manage it, because it's all for the good of the family.
Yeah, the other thing is that where you have a budget, where you have a financial plan, everything is stated. It doesn't matter who executes it. It could be the man, it could be the woman. You know, but the problem is that most families where you have male dominance, the man will want to always keep the money. And that happens when one's self-image is tied to money. Remove the money, some people will feel less of themselves.
Yes. I mean, it's a very interesting point that you've raised. From a culture point of view, especially for myself
Africa.
And yourself, you know, from an African, you know, sort of descent, it's the man that tends to want to take the wheel of financial responsibility,
because whoever has the money has the power.
Yes, and you don't even want to tell your wife how much you earn, and you know, that's a whole lot of conversation that we might have in a subsequent video. But you know, the fact that you don't want to disclose, so you want to manage it because you don't want to have that sort of conversation around this particular issue. And I think that, you know, just saying that, something just occurred to me just saying that a lot of people in a relationship do not want to declare what they earn. No, guys, for whatever reason, you can tell me if this is wrong or right. Just put your comments in the comment section, because a lot of people say, oh no, she's not, there's no way he's knowing how much I'm earning, or there's no way she's knowing how much I'm earning, because if they get to know, then they would request for more. So this is a whole lot of conversation, because when it comes to money matter, things get a bit complicated. So,
but this is our idea, and this is what played out for us.
Yeah. So
we are trying to say that it is important you have this conversation.
Yes.
You might not agree with the 7 points we've raised, but the key point is you must have this money conversation.
Yes.
And see how you can work together as an intended couple, so that when you get married, it will not be a problem to both of you. Remember, money is the elephant in the room.
Always.
Yes. If it is not discussed and dealt with or managed properly, it could lead to dysfunctional marriage.
Yes. They say the love of money is the root of all evil, but if you don't have money in itself, there's a whole lot of evil involved. So I think that, there's a whole lot of things. I mean, living in a house would cost money. Putting clothes on your back will cost money, and buying groceries will cost money. So it is an important conversation that needs to be had, and you shouldn't shy away from having that conversation.
Yeah. Having that conversation helps you to manage your expectations
and put things in perspective.
Do you agree with the 7 important money matters we've discussed today?
Yes.
If there is any point you don't agree with, or you have a different opinion about, can you put your comment in the comment section and let us know what you think?
We just want to thank you all for your likes and your comments on our previous videos. I thank you for engaging with the contents that we've been putting out. And we just want to encourage you, please do subscribe if you haven't done so. If you have already subscribed, thank you for joining us again. And do not forget to turn on your notification bell so you get the alert when we get a new video or a new content out. It was great having you all join us again. We will see you on the next episode. Until then, it's goodbye from us.
Bye.